Hello, this is Patricia Kovacevic, General Counsel and Chief Compliance Officer with Nicopure Labs. I have the privilege to be here today with Tony Abboud, the Legislative Director of the Vaping Technology Association. Nicopure Labs is a founding member and a board member of the Vaping Technology Association. So, how exactly does FDA's deeming regulation affect the vapor industry?
Well, first of all, these products represent the first game-changing technology in the industry. And really, they are the first game-changing technology in our ongoing campaign to reduce cigarette smoking. What we've seen with cigarettes over the course of the last 20 years is very few, if any, innovations. And now you have a true technology that is having a decisive impact. And you just see that in the statistics. You have the smoking rates declining to an all-time low, and you have the rate at which the decline is increasing exponentially. And what's phenomenal about that is, of course, the fact that we have the ability to either promote this product and continue to drive out smoking, or do what the FDA has done and figured out a way to curb innovation and keep it from happening.
And so the main problem of the pre-market authorization, or I should say of the Tobacco Control Act, is really that the companies that make up the vapor industry that are relatively new companies lack, first of all, the length of data, if you wish, scientific data that would be necessary to support a pre-market tobacco authorization, number one. Certainly many of them lack resources, because certainly, of course, a lot of these vapor companies are really mom-and-pop stores or companies.
Correct.
And more importantly, the notice that they've had from the FDA was very short. In fact, there is a time span of less than 2 years, realistically, to prepare something akin to a drug application.
Right.
What is FDA, in your opinion, thinking, and why are they doing that, number one? And number two, if you can share a little bit more of what VTA has been doing over the past few months. I know we've been, of course, meeting and talking to one another as a board, but also to other audiences. If you can share some of that and just sort of summarize what has been done, what are the issues, and what is the FDA thinking, and also maybe for the future, what will VTA do with respect to the FDA? I know a lot of questions.
Sure. Let me try to address those in sequence. What's the FDA thinking? If anybody knows that answer exactly, we would all be in a better place. And that's part of the problem. For businesses in this age, they need to have certainty, and government regulation has to provide them with some sense of certainty. And as things stand right now, this deeming regulation provides no certainty whatsoever. They provide some steps that you're supposed to take, some hoops that you have to jump through, and yet at the end of the day, even if you did everything the FDA asked, you would not have any clue as to whether or not you would continue to be able to operate and to sell your products. So what's the FDA thinking? I think they're thinking very simplistically. They're thinking very myopically. They figured there's enough political pressure out there against these products. They have political constituencies that have been pushing them to regulate these products, and they've been giving them the easiest and most simplistic reasons to do so. And the only thing the FDA has effectively done after multiple years is said, tag your tobacco. And they've left it at that. And they are literally going to Congress and saying, we're going to figure out the rest later. But as long as we regulate, that will be a good thing. Well, that's just completely untrue.
And there comes VTA, which engages obviously with Congress to work and basically prevent that from happening, right?
That's exactly right. And that's the core operating principle of VTA, is to make sure that the message and the truth get out to Congress, because those are the decision makers, and to the administration. And so what we have been doing is working very extensively with our government affairs team and our public affairs teams to make sure that we are in fact addressing the issues. Now, to get that done, to change the predicate date, we also have to acknowledge that there are other issues that are out there that can and should be addressed by industry. Good, strong industry groups also promote reasonable and rational industry regulations.
Right.
And that's what we are all about. Because we want regulation. We want to be able to participate in a meaningful marketplace that's properly regulated. Unfortunately, what the FDA has in place is not reasonable at all, because it simply is tantamount to a ban, as we were just talking about. So our message has been taken to Capitol Hill through our VTA board members who go to meetings, through state groups that we work with who are organized and are organizing, and we are making sure that they are connecting with their legislators either in their district or on Capitol Hill. And with messaging, messaging is extremely important, because we need to make sure that, again, the facts are getting out and are being heard. And so, and on top of that, we're also bringing new players to the issue. Interest groups that have a very significant stake in what happens, but may not necessarily be vapor companies or in the vapor industry. And those voices are important because they share a common goal, which is rational regulation, so that business is not overrun by government, who is trying to do the right thing but is missing the mark.
Right. So if you can tell us a little bit more about what states are involved in VTA's campaign to save the vapor industry, and a little bit about the state initiatives, because ultimately we see the industry sort of being attacked on two fronts. One, of course, the FDA issue that we have, but then at state level, creeping up taxation.
Yes.
Even some states have tried, as you know, Indiana and some others have tried to regulate the products, although there is a federal oversight that should really overrule any state initiative. So tell us a little bit more about the state level initiatives of VTA.
Well, this part is very exciting, because when we formed VTA, we formed it with three basic pillars. One is federal lobbying, the second one was public affairs, and the third one is state lobbying. And what that means is we recognize that we can achieve the gains that we're trying to achieve at the federal level come this December. However, in January, 50 states are coming back into session and all kinds of bills are going to get filed. And there are multiple battles that have to be fought on that level, because the misinformation is as rampant at the state level as it is at the federal level. And so what we have been doing is we have been working to help build strong state organizations. There are plenty of very good vapor organizations that have grown up at the state level. And we want to supplement those associations. We want to help make them stronger. And we can do that by helping convince folks to join their associations. We can do that by helping provide them information and guidance on what's happening at the federal level. We can give them the expertise that we have as state lobbying experts to help them understand how their issues can and should be addressed. We provide them, for example, Patricia, with white papers on the core issues that we know that they're going to face at the state level, whether it involves taxes or whether it involves flavors. And we can expect those two to be critical issues in multiple states this year: flavor bans and trying to increase the taxes. And both of those types of initiatives at the state level can do great damage to this industry. And so a rational argument and a coordinated message has to be rolled out in order to make sure that that does not happen. So we're working very hard on that with many state associations. And in fact, we just brought on board a professional lobbyist and governmental affairs expert at the state level, who is our state affairs manager, so that we can make sure that everybody is coordinated and has the information that they need.
But of course, an organization cannot exist without a robust membership base.
True.
And also with all kinds of supporters, even if they're not members. What can the audience do to get involved with VTA to save vapor?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question, because one of them, of course, is join VTA. Right. Be part of what we're doing. Contribute to an effort that is professional, that is strong, that is guided by professionals, and that is effective. Because so far we've been effective, and we want to continue to be effective. On top of that, I think one of the things that you need to do is take a look at our website, savevapor.org. There we have taken the time to put together a lot of resources where you can contact your legislators, you can do research on your state legislators or your federal legislators, you can send them emails, look up their phone numbers, you can get their Facebook pages, you name it. However you want to contact them, we provide those sources. We provide other information there on how to comply with the deeming regulations. We have our WeAreVapor campaign that has been ongoing, and you can find all that information on that website. And of course, if anybody has questions, they can always reach out to me. My information is on the website.
Thank you. Tell me a little bit more about the hashtag WeAreVapor campaign. I'm interested to hear. I know about it for full disclosure, of course, but I'd like to share it with our audience.
So the vaping industry is so passionate, and which is one of the greatest strengths that we have as an industry. In all my years working in government affairs and all the issues and in all the industries, this is the most passionate industry, and for good reason. And we're trying to capture some of that passion by having those folks show Congress who they are. And so some people can't get to Washington, D.C. to see their congressman, but how easy is it to take a picture in front of your vape shop and send that image to Washington, D.C. by tagging your senator and tagging your representatives on their Facebook pages. For all the social media that we do as an industry, it's the first time a social media campaign has been directed at Congress. And so the message is simple. We are Vapor. This is who we are, and we need to support Cole Bishop. And so we're asking folks, if you go to our SaveVapor.org page, you'll find the WeAreVapor page, and it gives you all the instructions for what you need to do. It's straightforward, it's easy to do, and it's a great way for people to leverage social media and get their message heard by the right folks.
It sounds like you have all the elements to succeed. We're really very proud to be part of the Vaping Technology Association. Tony Abboud, again, Legislative Director, thank you very much for your time today. And thank you to you for tuning in into another webinar. I'll look forward to the next installments. Thank you.